good morning, good evening, good night, whatever time it is. It's Robin. It's Nick. We're almost men.
Absolutely.
Almost. This is our little segment where we get to talk more about guy stuff. I know that Women Moments has already come out with their first episode, and this is kind of the counterpart to that, where we talk about stuff like sports, or maybe it's cars, something that's the typical, the real meat of being a dude. So, figured we'd start out with something that's real close to that, and we talk about football. As some of you may know, this offseason there's a lot going on with quarterbacks. There's so many teams that are either wanting to trade away what they have for value. There's a lot of quarterbacks looking to be in the draft this year. There's a lot going on in free agency that's not even tied up with contracts right now. And we just kind of compiled a list of the teams that have something going on quarterback-wise. I mean, I think I ran through it. There's like 14 teams. That's crazy for an offseason. 14 teams have something going on with either they're thinking of getting rid of or they're just going to be getting a entirely new quarterback central to their team.
It's just like a mass shift of
quarterbacks. It's huge.
The great shift of
Next year, me and Nick, we play a lot of fantasy football, and it's going to be really interesting trying to look at drafting next year, knowing you're trying to figure out what the systems are going to look like. Everything is going to look different.
Yeah, I mean, it really will.
14. That's almost half the league. I think there's I was looking through at which divisions are really affected the most. And I think the only division that's not affected at all is the AFC North.
Yeah,
Steelers have decided Ben is still their boy, which
I
don't agree with.
No, that's awful. Why would you do that?
I know, but it's what they're doing. The Browns, towards the end of the year, they've decided Baker, Baker, you can stay.
For now.
Try and build around him a little bit more. You've started it. You're on a great path. You're kind of where the Dolphins are at, but you've actually got a quarterback, which we'll get into later. Ravens have Lamar. Love him, hate him. He's their guy at this point. And who else? Bengals. They just got Joe Burrow, who, unfortunate injury halfway through the season.
The stanky leg.
He did the stanky leg. He really did. Wow.
Stanky.
Were you there when I was watching it live on Red Zone? I think you might have still been at work.
No, I think I was here. I think I had just gotten here or had just tuned in to see it.
It was not great to watch, but he, before that injury, was looking amazing. I think he's going to be a great staple for the Bengals for a long time. And now I think I was
Dude's
reading
going to have
today.
a robot leg now,
and they've
unstoppable.
They've got the 4th or 5th pick overall too. They can totally do something there. Get him some actual blockers. Give him some. Help him.
Watch the Bengals just fuck up and just draft another quarterback.
I know. You know what's crazy? I think the Bengals actually have a decent receiving core. They've got good receiving tight ends. They've got Boyd. They've got AJ Green.
Who's the guy that wears Ocho Cinco's number?
Ocho Cinco. Shoot. What's his name? I forget. But yeah, they don't have a terrible receiving core. They've got a good quarterback now. He's young. He knows what he's doing. He's got great football knowledge and a whole lot of skill to come with it. And I think with good coaching, he could become a great. But AFC North, the only division that's untouched by this. And hell, even I wrote this list last week. Now Seattle, there's talk about Russell Wilson even.
Yeah, because he's I'm fed up.
I think Seattle, they're doing.
Tired of getting demolished every season.
Yeah, dude, I was looking at at something that NFL posted on social media today.
He's about the West Coast Carson Wentz.
The quote of "I'm tired of being hit so often" or something like that. And it was a picture of all of his pass rushers that he has to face. He's now got J.J. Watt and Chandler Jones in Arizona. Today, at the date of recording, is the day when J.J. finally signed. He picked the Arizona Cardinals, of all people. A whole other conversation. But Chandler Jones, J.J. Watt. In L.A., there's Aaron Donald, obviously. I'm
Isn't
really
there talks of him moving too?
no,
No.
I don't think there's.
I
any
thought
Uh, there's
Yeah.
there's another big name. I'm really sorry. I'm forgetting his name. There's another huge pass rusher in LA, and then in San Fran, there's Nick Bosa. He's got so much competition. There's no wonder he's getting lit up. Even if he had a great O line, which he doesn't. I feel like they have an average O line. I feel like they don't have a terrible one. They don't have a great one. Russell obviously is great on his feet. It is what it is.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
when you have that competition, that's 6 games out of the year that you're facing.
also age catches up with people. Like
Russ was drafted in what, 2012, 2013?
yeah, I mean,
He's starting to get there. I wouldn't say that he's really hitting anything like that yet. But
I mean, he's definitely slowed down. Like
yeah,
he's not the same Russell.
but I think Seattle is doing a lot of what Houston's currently doing with Deshaun Watson. They're saying like, no, he's not going anywhere, and he's saying stuff like, oh, I might think of going to the Bears, the Raiders, Cowboys, Saints, the Bears. Dude, come on, man.
Why?
I mean, it's true. Oh, they have great receiving core that just is not utilized with the dumpster fire that is their quarterback locker room. We'll get into that later, but
I
yeah,
like
I don't
it's gonna
think
be a shot game already. Like we're already
yeah.
We'll get to that later.
We'll get to that later. But
take a shot.
We got it. There's so many.
I know.
You touch on anything and you're gonna
Yeah, it just sink into the rabbit hole, which is football.
Yeah, but Seattle I think is very much of the mindset of we're not getting rid of Russell Wilson. What kind of fucking idiots would we be if we got rid of Russ? And even Dallas was like, do you really think we'd get rid of Dak? No. We've got our guy at this point.
That's pretty funny, though, that they technically could have paid him nothing. Could have been like, no, we actually don't want to sign you now.
Yeah.
And like, the man's just booked because he got seriously hurt and then not having.
I know, it's
that
coming off of an
paycheck.
injury, too. You can't even. Because part of me is like, well, that's what Le'Veon Bell did with the Steelers. But he wasn't injured. He just 1 year was like, I want more money. And then sat out a year and then got picked up by the Jets and didn't do jack shit with them. And then the next year, halfway through the season, Adam Gase, professional retard, was like, go somewhere else. And then Le'Veon Bell has no, he doesn't have a ring now. He played in a Super Bowl for the first time in a bit.
Yeah, no, he played for the wrong side.
Actually, was he ever in a Super Bowl? Let's see, when was the last time the Steelers won? What was that, like 2010-ish? Somewhere around that era. I don't think Le'Veon was in the league yet. I think that was Le'Veon's first time in the Super Bowl, and he was a Chief.
And
What a weird year.
Turns out the Buccaneers were endgame. Like, you ever see that meme of Patrick Mahomes with all his receivers, and then he's pulling the Mind Stone out, and it's just Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon Bell.
Don't mind if I do. Infinity Gauntlet.
All right.
Tom Brady's Tony Stark.
Yeah, jeez. Speaking of LA, talking about NFC West, Stafford, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I personally love Matt Stafford. I think he's tough as nails. I think he's great at the position. The problem is he's been in Detroit his whole life, or his whole career.
No, imagine if you're Jared Goff, though, and like you went out there and played through like your hand is broken, and you're not getting this fixed because you're still playing, and it's like, and then they end up trading you to Detroit of all places.
Yeah, just tossed in as kind of a second thought, even.
Yeah, they drafted you first overall. In fact, traded up to get you, and then dumped you like yesterday's trash.
Bye-bye. You're not working super well. But yeah, Matt Stafford, great, but is he worth, let's see, this year's third round, which is conditional, and I think I was reading more into it, if Goff ends up playing, I think it's like 80% of the snaps, and he does some certain amount of statistics, if he ends up going off, that third round, that conditional third round, becomes a first round. So
get fucked.
Or no, maybe that's the third round a couple years down the line. But they've got so many draft picks, like great draft picks from that. I mean, the Lions obviously won there.
Right.
I mean, Jared Goff, he's not terrible. I can't say that Jared Goff is a terrible quarterback. He's not elite.
He's not what they thought he was, but he's not.
No, the problem was he was hyped up. He was a first overall. He should have been, in reality, like a third round. That's what quality he plays at. Second or third round quarterback. That's what he is. There's no shame in that. Fucking Tom Brady was 199th overall. Okay,
I know. It's funny that you're like, he shouldn't have been the first overall. He should have
should've-
been a third round
Yeah,
pick.
in reality, looking back, that's where he should have been. If they had been able, if the Rams, right now, we're able to
That's
go back in
another
time.
first round pick that the Rams fucked up.
Yeah, we could get into a whole thing with that, but yeah, LA and Detroit. I think Detroit is gonna do hopefully some good things in the future. I don't think they're gonna do much this year, but hopefully 2-3 years down the line, they're able to actually build up a real team. I like their receivers. I actually really enjoy running Detroit receivers for fantasy football because of Matt Stafford.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, but
Cooper Kupp next year, though? Ooh.
Yeah, he's gonna be great.
No, I'm snagging first.
Let's see. Where do I want to go next on here? I've got this whole list, but I'm looking at it. On the top of the list, I have Miami and New England, which I feel like are a little bit harsh to start with, but screw it. Miami. Okay. Tua Tagovailoa, drafted 5th overall this past year in the draft by the Miami Dolphins out of Alabama, from Hawaii. Hell of a dude. Repping the 808. Didn't look amazing this year, but it's his first year. Yeah, it's his first year, and a lot of people are looking and they're like, well, look at his receiving core when he played for Bama, and he's got a lot of great receivers that are now making names for themselves in the NFL in the same year as he is. But I feel like he just needs a little bit more time. I think the conversation of, well, we should just trade away Tua, we should draft really early again. They've got the 3rd overall pick. They very well could do that.
Drafting a big receiver.
They very well could go get Justin Fields or Zach Wilson, because obviously Trevor Lawrence is going 1st overall. Right. Jacksonville's going to get him. That's what it is. But I don't think Miami should do that. I think Miami should stick with Tua. Ryan Fitzpatrick is talking about wanting to play for other teams. If he wants to do that, screw it. It's Fitzmagic. That's what he does. He goes everywhere. There's a lot of people memeing, go play for New England. That's the only AFC East team he hasn't played for, because he's already played for the Bills, the Jets, and the Dolphins. He's just missing the Pats. Which, as a Pats fan myself, I'm sure I've mentioned, if you listen to the podcast, you know I'm from Vermont. I was born in Boston. I'm a Pats fan through and through. And honestly, screw it. I'd be all right with that. It wouldn't be my first choice, but if that's what we end up with, I can't say that I'd be completely mad. But
you'll imagine having your head coach be the same age as your quarterback.
Shit. But yeah, as far as Miami's concerned, they have that 3rd overall pick. They also have the 18th overall, so they have 2 pretty good first-round picks, even after they just missed playoffs, which I could get into a whole thing about how that's bullshit. I think they should have made playoffs. But, yeah, stick with Tua. That 3rd-round pick, get another Laramie Tunsil. It's what they did, 3 years ago? They got Laramie Tunsil, one of the great left tackles in the league, did great things, and they traded him away to Houston for what is now this 3rd overall pick. It was Houston's first-round pick this year that Houston tanked, gave him a 3rd overall.
Yeah.
Which is so beautiful. I love that so much. I'm not a fan of the Dolphins for obvious reasons, but
I'm not a fan of Houston in general.
Yeah, fuck Houston.
Houston has terrible things.
Man, Bill O'Brien, the other professional retard. But yeah, get another huge left tackle. Help Tua out a little bit. See if he can. Obviously, with Bama, he was able to do great stuff with a team around him. And I think Miami's got the start of that. but they need to continue on that path and continue making a great team. I feel like I want to end with New England because there's so much going on there. I can't just jump right into it. Jets.
Not yet. You don't want to feel the pain.
The New York Jets. All right, so you got Sam Darnold, former, I think he was like second overall, or he was third. He was one of the top 3 in his draft class a couple years ago. I watch him play, and I think he could be something great. I don't know if he could be amazing. I don't know if he could be Tom Brady level Russ, anything like that. But I think he's got the start of doing something great. And we've already discussed how Adam Gase just didn't train him at all. He was not brought up to be a better quarterback. Adam Gase was just an idiot. And so the question is Darnold ruined at this point? Has his window passed?
How many years has he been in the league now?
2 or 3. I think, it's been 2 or 3 years. He missed a bunch of games last year because he had mono, which, the fucking, what? But
he's doing in the locker room.
That boy is seeing ghosts. That was, they played the Pats last year. I remember watching it with my dad, and the Patriots picked him off, 3 or 4 times in the same game? And he was on the sideline, mic'd up, and he said the words, "I'm seeing ghosts, man." Every time I see Darnold, I immediately think mono and "I'm seeing ghosts, man."
I'm seeing ghosts, man.
I think he could be something great. Maybe he goes to New England. Bill is a hell of a quarterback coach. He's great at bringing up guys that actually have some skill. Jacoby Brissett ended up starting for the Colts last year, basically. Jimmy G has been the starter for San Fran for a while. Tom Brady is Tom fucking Brady.
I think a great one.
Yeah.
Of the football world.
Yeah. I mean, shit, it's fucking Tom Brady. I think the Patriots do a really good job of coaching up young quarterbacks. And the only question is Darnold able to be coached up at this point? He had no growth in his first 2 or 3 years in the league. And so the Jets are thinking, well, can we trade him away? He's still got 3 years left on his contract, so I guess he's played 3 years in the league at this point because he had his 2-year rookie and he's in this contract now. But does anyone want to take him? What do you even get for Darnold at this point? He's not signed to huge money, as far as I can tell. Like, his contract isn't bloated. But do you take Darnold on a 3-year contract to roll the dice? Yeah, the dude's, I don't know.
New England, even if he would theoretically get traded to New England,
which do the Jets want to do that? Do the Jets want to trade away Darnold to a team they're going to see twice a year and possibly have that person kick their ass twice a year?
Right, but you guys don't have receivers though.
We have some. The problem is Elman was injured all year, which is never good.
And then you also have 5 running backs.
I know. We run.
It was nuts just to see every week a different Patriots running back get Mondo points on fantasy.
Yeah, it's impossible to know which one's going to go off.
They're all going to have all of them.
They're all great in their own right, and I think the Patriots do a great job of selecting who they need for specific situations. But yeah, for fantasy, it's fucking impossible to run a running back from New England.
You just have to pick one and get lucky.
You can't even run a wide receiver from New England. It's even when Tom was there, unless it was the era of Randy Moss or Rob Gronkowski. Dude, everyone else, who knows?
Right.
Houston does not want to give Deshaun up. They do not have a first-round pick. Also, by the way, the Jets have the 2nd overall pick, so they could very easily snag a quarterback if they wanted to dump Darnold off somewhere else.
I mean, you could.
They very easily could. They also have the 23rd overall, so they have 2 first-round picks. Houston, Deshaun Watson doesn't want to play in Houston. And I understand why.
That man is gonna just sit and not play.
He's got so much talent. I think he he broke a couple records this year, and he played on a team that ended up going, what, 4-12 or some shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, their pick ended up being the 3rd overall, so they didn't do well.
They weren't great.
But, dude, and that poor boy.
Circling back to the J.J. Watt thing, yeah, to go 4-12 to go, 9-8 or 9-7.
Man,
Ooh.
I remember watching a clip that came out after, I think it was the last game of the season for Houston, and it was Deshaun Watson walking off the field with J.J. Watt. One of them was mic'd up, and Deshaun goes, "They're wasting you here, man. They're wasting you. We are wasting your valuable years." And it honestly made me kind of emotional. I was like, "You're right. You're right. We're wasting a great man's years playing in fucking Houston. Why?" But Deshaun Watson the other day released an official statement that says he will not play for Houston. Houston is so far up their own asses, they will not trade him away. Literally, other teams are leaving messages on the receiver to Houston offering trade deals, and Houston says, "No, we're not accepting anything." And they're still leaving messages. Think of the value you're able to get from trading Deshaun Watson away. Take the L. He's not going to play for you, and if he does, he's going to purposely do it shittily. You're going to get nothing out of this year. Take the L, get some trade, get some picks, get some other valuable player maybe. I don't know. Get what you can out of this while it lasts, because his contract is up next year as far as I know, and he's going to be gone anyways. So get it while you can. Idiots.
For real, man. You literally you could get a good return for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. You already don't have a first round pick this year. What are you going to do? Indianapolis. So Carson Wentz, huh? That's what you were feeling? I mean, Carson Wentz, he could be good.
I feel like a change of scenery is nice for him, though.
It very well could be. Indy has a great offensive line, something Carson Wentz has never had. And
actual receivers.
If he can take this offseason to just hit reset on his psyche.
Yeah.
And
get healthy.
Yeah, because even watching him play this year, he obviously was not in the game. He wasn't there mentally. And I think if he can get better there, Indy has...
Well, that's what I'm saying with the whole change of scenery.
Yeah.
I think it'll be good for him.
Yeah, I think Indy is one of the most comfortable places for a quarterback to be right now. I mean, shit, they just had Phillip Rivers there. They said, "Screw it, we'll run Phillip Rivers and we'll make playoffs still."
Exactly.
Dude, imagine where Indy would be if they had almost any other quarterback. Indy very well could have gone to the Super Bowl this year.
Right.
They could have, fuck it, maybe.
They could have beat the Chiefs.
But,
probably. Maybe.
Maybe.
No.
I don't know. But,
yeah.
But yeah, Indy has such a great all-around team. It's amazing. And I think if this is gonna be Carson Wentz's rehab center of sorts, I don't think there's any better place to go do it.
Yeah.
Shit, we'll see. He was at one point his rookie or maybe it was his second season. He was being considered as an MVP option. MVP, sorry, that's Mitchell Trubisky. Only MVP in history. Fucking niche. But yeah, Carson Wentz, I mean, maybe. We'll see. I'm curious to see how that plays out, but I don't know. I mean, I know that's how I opened with this with Indy, but I was like, Carson Wentz, huh?
Carson Wentz.
All right, we'll see. Jacksonville, we already know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They have 2 first-round picks. They have the 1st and the 25th overall. So they could very easily get something else with their 25th. I mean, that's still a first-round pick.
Yeah, I mean,
25th, you got a little bit slimmer pickings, but you're not looking for a quarterback at that point. Running back, maybe. But I'd love to take a closer look. I need to reacquaint myself with what the O-line sitch is in Jacksonville. I feel like their defense is starting to get a little sparse. I know they got rid of AJ Bouye, and then he went to Minnesota, and then he ended up in what, LA? Is that where he ended? I don't know. Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence is a great starting point for a rebuild. That's how I'm gonna end that.
Watch them shock the world and not draft Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. What do you do otherwise then?
Just draft some other quarterback.
Draft a different quarterback that isn't Trevor Lawrence. So you got.
Could you imagine? That would be a real slap in the face to Trevor Lawrence. Just no, we're not drafting you first overall.
I before our episode today did a little extra research on the draft. I normally do it right before the draft actually happens, and I watch the combine. That's how I get ready for fantasy every year, getting to know who the rookies are going to be coming in. Unfortunately, this year due to COVID, sounds like the combine isn't going to be happening. They're going to do some in-house stuff, but it's not going to be the same. So big names for quarterbacks, which is what we're talking about today, that are going to be likely in the first round. Trevor Lawrence, obviously, Clemson. He's 6'6", which is gigantic for a quarterback.
Monster.
He's a slim guy, but wow, he's tall.
Trevor Lawrence is going to become the first player to throw the ball and catch it himself.
He's not. Marcus Mariota did that a couple years ago, actually, when he was still starting for Tennessee.
Shit.
It's happened a few times, but I think Mariota was the last time that it's happened. Yeah, man. I don't know what. Actually, yeah, because it. So he threw it. It bounced off a defender's helmet that wasn't looking towards him, popped up, and he caught it after the line of scrimmage. I think in fantasy he gets the points because it was a touchdown as well. It was. So he gets the 4 points. And plus I think it was like a 5-yard play. So he gets the 4 plus the 0.2. So he's got 4.2 already just in the pass for the touchdown. And then he's got an extra 1 for the reception. So that's 5.2 plus the 6 for the touchdown. So he's got 11.2 points in a single play. That's great. PPR, obviously. But, yeah, so Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields is kind of the next guy that people are looking at. He was the quarterback for Ohio State. There's a lot of people thinking that he's going to go to either New York or somewhere else. One of those early picks. Zach Wilson, a little bit further down, quarterback of BYU. And Mac Jones, who people are expecting to be a little definitely later in the first round, was the quarterback for Bama this year. And Tua Tagovailoa, who started in front of Mac Jones at Bama, directly compared him to Tom Brady. When Tom Brady was first drafted, there's the pictures of him at the combine. He's scrawny. He's got a little bit of flab still. There's not a lot of muscle tone there. Pale as hell. Apparently, Uncle Rico looking ass. Apparently, this guy fits Tom Brady's rookie year to a T. As far as his play style, as far as how he looks, everything about him is Tom Brady. Which, I mean, interesting. New England's got the 15th overall. There's 3 quarterbacks in front of them. This guy plays exactly how we're used to. Maybe. We'll see.
Maybe. But that means you just have to find all the other reincarnations of what you had. You gotta find the next Rob Gronkowski somewhere.
Yeah, jeez. I feel like tight ends that are being drafted. You don't. I'm gonna sound like an old shit. I'm 21, but you don't get tight end. Tight ends ain't the same as they used to be. You know.
Mm-hmm.
You got Gronk, who is kind of he's. Well, I don't know if he's even there mentally anymore. You've got Kelsey. Kelsey's amazing, and Darren Waller. People don't pick up as much, but Vegas Raiders tight end Darren Waller is the other like big fantasy tight end. Normally Zach Ertz dropped off hardcore this year. I don't know what happened. But I feel like tight ends, you don't hear about like the big name tight ends that come out of the draft anymore. You know,
Yeah.
I mean they were never drafted super high to begin with, but I don't know. I miss tight end offenses. They're not run as much anymore. Nowadays, tight ends are blockers. Occasionally, you catch them, but I don't know. Maybe it's because I grew up watching Gronk. I'm super biased. I could be. All right, Denver. When I wrote this list, there was some murmurs about, oh, maybe we trade away Drew Lock, this, that, the other. I think that's kind of settled down. I think Denver's like Drew Lock's our guy. I was kind of excited as a Pats fan because I would love to snag Drew Lock for New England.
The Missouri boy.
The Mizzou boy, yeah. But I don't think that's going to be happening. It sounds like Denver's got Drew Lock locked in. Vegas. Vegas seems to be just seeing if anyone wants Derek Carr. He's up on the bidding
They threw him out
the
there,
block.
you know?
Yeah.
Why not?
They're like, yeah, anyone want Derek Carr? He's got like 2 or 3 years left on his contract. He's got a pretty big contract.
Yeah, it's bulky.
There's a lot of talk. Derek Carr, I feel like he's generally good. I feel like people shit on him more than they should.
I like Derek Carr. I think he could perform well with a better, like, if he would have gone to like Indy, like.
See, but the problem is Vegas has a pretty good O-line. Derek Carr isn't doing much. You could point at his receivers, and that's part of why Darren Waller hits so many points. It's because he's a great receiver,
Yeah.
and he doesn't have much else to work with.
Who else do they have?
They have Nelson Aguilar, who's famous for dropping everything that comes his way.
That is exactly true. I forgot. I picked him up in fantasy, and he did nothing.
And
I think he got me negative points that game.
I think he probably did.
And I was like, thanks, Aguilar.
And they've got Henry Ruggs the third, who was their first-round pick this past year in the draft, who played at Bama with Tua. And people talk about, oh, Tua had this great set around him. But Henry Ruggs is one of those people. He did pretty well for his rookie season. I feel like Derek Carr doesn't trust him very much. That's kind of the vibe that I got. And so he didn't get a ton of passes his way. But other than that, I mean, Jordy Nelson played for them last year, maybe 2 years ago, and then retired after 1 year with them. He was obviously with the Green Bay Packers for a while. But I feel like they don't have a ton for receiving core. And obviously it's showing that they're trying to bolster that a little bit more with drafting Ruggs. But I don't know. I don't know entirely what to think about Derek Carr. I have long stated that I would love Derek Carr to come to Patriots. I would have no problems with that. But I don't know. Pats have a pretty good cap right now. They could take a little bit of a cap hit if they wanted to sign someone big. That's not really their style. They're more of a substance thing. Get a lot of guys for small contracts.
Wouldn't give Tom Brady the money he deserves. Goes out and trades for Derek Carr.
that'd be the biggest fuck you to Tom. Whatever. He won the Super Bowl this year. He can do whatever the hell he wants. I'm sure he wouldn't take it. No, Tom takes things personally. That's why he's so great. It's his fuel. He thrives off of adversity. Oh, someone thinks I'm shitty? Time to go win the Super Bowl. Damn, I should retire. That's crazy.
People shit on me because I forgot what down it was. Time to go win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's right. That happened this year.
Yeah.
He forgot what down it was.
And then, kneeled on fourth down. The game was over.
What a game. Yeah. Vegas, I mean, what do you do with as Vegas? You have the 17th overall pick. So, especially if the Pats end up going Mac Jones and all 4 of those big-name quarterbacks are gone, there's really nothing left. So you don't draft one. You pick one up off of free agency. I don't know. I feel like Vegas should stick with Derek Carr. Just sit. I know you want value for it.
I think they're just throwing it out there to see what they can get.
But, moving on to, let's go up north. Chicago, the Bears.
Bears.
Fucking Mitch Mitch the
Yes.
Bitch Trubisky, MVP. Mitchell Trubisky. It sounds like who they're going with. I personally would have loved to see them go with fucking Nick Foles, Big Dick Nick. I think he's a much better quarterback.
Biggest.
But Chicago, another team with their head up their ass, still thinks that Mitchell Trubisky could be something great. I disagree. I think most of the NFL disagrees.
I don't think Mitch Trubisky's good.
Yeah, but Nick Foles sounds like is going to be let into free agency for the most part. Yeah, it sounds like they're not going to be signing him, or maybe he is signed and they're just up for trading him. But they've kind of put their foot down and been like, no, Mitch is our guy. Why? Whatever, Chicago, do what you want. You got they've got the 20th overall in the first round this year. Draft. Be drafted for Chicago. Chicago's got a pretty good defense. They've got Khalil Mack. They've got good backfield in the defense. They've got a good overall defense. They've got Jimmy Graham for tight end. You
don't have that.
You have actual receivers. You've got maybe do something a little bit more with the run game, but even then, Montgomery's not a half bad. I know we could bitch about Montgomery all day.
Oh, we could go
Nick,
into that.
but
We'll get into that later.
but but I feel like really the biggest thing that Chicago needs is a quarterback. Maybe Russ isn't crazy for thinking like, damn, if I could go to Chicago, maybe I could make Chicago great. maybe he's not crazy, but
I feel like they need some O line.
maybe a little bit. Yeah,
I feel like they have.
Yeah, I've seen too many videos of Mitch Trubisky trying to scramble and not doing super well. Yeah, maybe O line.
Always
You got the
find it
20th overall.
hilarious, like especially like during the Super Bowl, like watching the Buccaneers just charge at fucking Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, maybe pick up a guard. That's something like that. Or that's the thing. I'm like, oh, maybe get an edge rusher because those are kind of the hot commodity these days. They've got Khalil Mack. They don't need another one. They can get something else. Bolster something else.
Get a good left tackle.
Yeah, fuck it.
Or
Big
a right
boy.
tackle, whatever side Mitch throws to. Get his line side.
He needs a left tackle, but
Get him that left tackle.
fucking Chicago. What do you do? I have Green Bay on here because, like I said, I wrote this a week ago, but it sounds like Aaron Rodgers will be the quarterback for Green Bay. It's got to be Rodgers, right? Like,
Bro.
I think Aaron's just a guy that's trying to stir the pot a little bit. He knows he's going to stay in Green Bay, and at the end of the day, all the coaching staff is like, why the fuck would we not run Aaron Rodgers? He just won MVP.
Yeah, I think now is a good time to go with that quarterback we drafted first round.
Yeah, let's get Jordan Love in there. I mean, shitty they did that. Obviously did great things for Aaron Rodgers because he had that mentality of fuck these guys, I'm still great. And also great that he's able to train up another quarterback in the same way that he had done for him by Brett Favre.
Yeah.
Very similar to Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers' situation, where Aaron Rodgers was drafted first round by Green Bay. Brett Favre very much thought he was still in his prime. He was not happy about it. And Aaron Rodgers started playing maybe 1 or 2 years later and was Aaron Rodgers. Who knows? Maybe 2 years from now, Jordan Love comes out and Green Bay continues to have amazing quarterbacks because every 10 years they piss off their veteran amazing quarterback by drafting one first round. But yeah, I think they've got Aaron Rodgers. That's what they're going to run. Washington. Taylor Heineke.
Name redacted.
They also officially said that this is going to be, so 2021, they'll still be named redacted. But 2022, they'll have an actual name. So it'll only have been 2 years where they didn't have a name.
Why can't they just put their name now? They know what their name is.
Nick, that's a great question.
They know exactly what their name is. Why don't they just come out and say it?
We don't want to say that we're the Wolves. All the high schools are picking the Wolves right now. I don't know. We need to wait another year. But
The Washington Wolves.
The Washington. Yeah, it kind of rolls off.
You can go with
And with the color scheme, I could see with the kind of similar to their current logo with the yellow wolf on like that burgundy background. I can see that. Yeah,
I got it. You ready?
Okay.
The Washington Capitals.
Just do exactly what their other team is.
Yeah, they just have the eagle.
Dude, we could talk a lot about retro hockey logos, but dude, I love that logo. Fucking hate the Capitals. Big time Penguins fan. Hate the Capitals. Damn, is that logo nice. But yeah, they're going with Taylor Heineke, is what it looks like. They signed him to a pretty decent check. His contract is looking all right. He seems to gel a lot better with the guys in the locker room. I know that was a huge issue with Dwayne Haskins.
Junior.
What a fucking idiot. But yeah, I think he seems like a much more stand-up guy, and I think Ron Rivera respects that. And Washington's got a lot else to work on. Their defense is looking amazing. I think Chase Young was great for them this year. At quarterback, Taylor Heineke, maybe not going to be there for like 6 years, but I think he'll do pretty well for them for the next 2 or 3. Yeah.
He's just the fill-in.
Yeah, I respect it. It is what it is.
Watch us eat shit. Watch him just blow up.
Yeah, dude, that's the thing. And I wouldn't be upset by it. I'd be super happy. Yeah. Alex Smith, I'm really happy you came back this year.
True MVP.
Look, man. Look. I watched you play when you still played for the Chiefs. And I know that you're the king of the duck. That throw, not amazing. You're great at coaching up other quarterbacks, which is what you did with Mahomes. And I think you had a great comeback story.
Mahomes was there?
Yeah. Mahomes didn't play his first year. Mahomes started his second year because Alex Smith was coaching him up that first year, actually. And he came in his sophomore season and destroyed. But, yeah, Alex Smith, respect you so much as a person, but as a quarterback and as someone who's trying to win football games, Taylor Heineke, yeah, I'm probably gonna start Taylor Heineke over you.
Still only watch.
Before we end things with New England, one last team, Carolina. There's a little bit of talk about
Deshaun Watson.
Circling
it back.
There's some talk about Deshaun.
There was some rumors early January about him going.
They've got money. They also have the 8th overall pick in the draft this year, which is nothing to bat an eye at. Personally, I love Teddy Bridgewater. I think Teddy Bridgewater is a great quarterback that people sleep on a lot. I know he's not your MVP type, but he's gonna fucking get it done, bro. It's Teddy. Personally, stick with Teddy. You have an 8th overall. Build around Teddy. But I don't know if that's what Carolina's going to choose to do.
Again, I think he's only in it for the short term. I would not have Bridgewater long term.
I don't know.
I don't know if you could rely on him as the guy.
Well, try him. You only had him for a year. Try him again. One more, please, Carolina. And finally, New England. I know we've peppered in New England this whole time. I've written down no more Cam. Please, Lord, no more fucking Cam. I was so pissed this past year when we decided Cam Newton was going to be our quarterback. What the fuck was that?
Super Cam.
What did he throw? 4 touchdowns at home this year?
He ran in like 40.
It wasn't 40.
I think
it was closer to like 10.
I think you guys would have been in the playoffs if he ran in 40 touchdowns.
Jesus, that fucking guy. I've hated Cam Newton since he was drafted. I really hated Cam Newton his entire career. I remember watching that game, that Super Bowl, Denver and Carolina, where Denver spanked them.
And ruined the perfect season.
And I remember getting overflown with joy watching Cam Newton act like a fucking baby on the sideline. Look at you. Look at yourself.
Look at yourself right now.
What
you have just done.
That man is nothing but emotion. There is little to back it. Do not like Cam Newton. And surprise, surprise, he didn't do amazing this year. Man, that's crazy. Thanks for giving us 7-9. What we should have done is we should have just taken the L after losing Brady. I think what New England should have done is they should have taken the L. We lost Brady, tank for a year, get a good quarterback. We knew Trevor Lawrence was in there. We knew Justin Fields was in there. We could have just said, fuck it. Okay, end of an era. Move on. We said, no, I think we'll half stay. We'll try. We'll just cling on and kind of do a shitty job. But not shitty enough that we actually get anything out of it. And not good enough that we actually, get a Super Bowl. We're going to go 7-9. Bitch, what?
Middle of the pack, boys.
Yeah, now we're stuck in limbo. That's what that was the problem with the Dolphins for years and years. My stepfather, Kevin, huge Miami Dolphins fan. He's from Burlington, Vermont. He grew up in the era where they were amazing. I get why he became a Dolphins fan in the same way that there's a lot of Chiefs fans everywhere now. It is what it is. Or you have bandwagon New Englanders all around the country that people shit on everywhere. But
you mean bandwagon Buccaneers fans?
Buccaneers fans now. Yeah, it switches from year to year. But Kevin grew up in that era. They had a dynasty. The Dolphins were huge, and he was a Dolphins fan. And so I've grown up hearing a lot about the Dolphins, and every fucking year, all he talks about is we should just tank. We need to fucking tank. I'm tired of sitting in limbo. If we spend another 10 years sitting at 8-8 or somewhere around there, I'm gonna stop watching football. And they did it right. They said, screw it. We're finally gonna fucking tank for a couple years. They got great picks.
Well, they fucked up the tank because they really wanted the first overall pick.
Well, they still got the guy that they wanted. He just
so they can draft
as much as they did.
They got it anyway.
But they did a great job picking a new coach. I think Brian Flores is the epitome of what someone who used to be a coaching staff member at New England should do, rather than trying to copy what Bill is. I think he's doing his own thing. He's being Brian Flores. I know that's what Urinating Tree said, but I think Brian Flores is a great coach, and they've made the correct decisions. And I think New England is falling into becoming the next Miami. I think we've traded places.
The dynasty reign is over. Welcome to limbo.
Yeah. Quarterbacks that I'd love to see New England have. Drew Lock looks like we're probably not getting him. Derek Carr, I don't think it's going to happen. I, from the sounds of it, would not mind drafting Mac Jones this year.
So what you're saying...
It's not a very New England type pick. Our first round pick this year, you know what it was? It was a safety from a D2 school. What the fuck is that? You know what he did? Nothing. He did nothing this year, Nick.
What the fuck is that? So
you know what we did the year before? We got a great tackle. Okay. And we got N'Keal Harry. You know how much N'Keal Harry is panned out? He hasn't. He can't catch. We got a first-round wide receiver that can't catch.
So what you're saying is you want anybody but Super Cam.
That's very accurate.
Anyone.
Don't give me Mitch. No Mitchell Trubisky. No more Super Cam. Cam Newton this past week, he put out in a press conference, he says, I feel like I still got a lot of play in me. There's 32 teams. I don't think there's 32 quarterbacks that are better than me. And immediately, one of the top comments was a list of the rankings of yardage and touchdowns and passer rating and all that. And Cam Newton is ranked 34th in the league this past year. Dak Prescott, who played 4 or 5 games, was ranked above him. Sorry, Cam.
And Cam
I think you're wrong. I think there are 32 players in the league. And you know what? There's about to be 4 more that are drafted in that are likely better than you are right now. Get out. Retire.
Get out.
It is what it is.
XFL for
You're
you.
broken.
Banished.
XFL. Fuck it. XFL. Dude, his style of play is not New England. He's a tank. He's a running quarterback. Not at all like Lamar. He's not at all.
Go!
I can respect Lamar. He's a running quarterback, but the way that he runs is in a way that he doesn't get hit. Cam runs into tackles and, surprise, gets injured a lot. What are you thinking?
Jets fans, you want Michael Vick back, but this time it's Cam Newton.
But that was the thing. Michael Vick is very similar to Lamar in that he did go into tackles. Michael Vick was not a big guy. He was very fast, is what he was. And he really liked dogs, apparently. But
we'll get into that later.
But yeah, New England, fucking New England. What are we gonna do? My entire life, I was born December '99. My entire life, Tom Brady has been the quarterback for New England, and he's won 6 Super Bowls with us. And this year, he left us. And he won another fucking Super Bowl. 7! You know, good for him. But I think New England just doesn't know what to do now. Or, I mean, it's shocking. It's jarring.
Where you're like, shit, maybe Tom was the reason this team won.
He definitely wasn't the whole reason, but he was a great contributor. But, I mean, who else would I not mind becoming? If New England ended up with Teddy Bridgewater, okay. Ryan Fitzpatrick, it'd be a hell of a meme, but screw it. Darnold, maybe. He'd be cheap, but it's a real roll of the dice to see if he actually does anything. That's
Dwayne
my
Haskins.
Dwayne Haskins can get fucked. That's what Dwayne Haskins can do. Yeah, that's shit. Drew Lock, man. I love Drew Lock. Yeah, there's a bunch of different. I think New England has the biggest open net variety of what could happen with them. I don't know which way they're going to go, but there's a lot of things that could happen that I would end up actually being okay with. But just don't re-sign Cam. Dear God, don't re-sign Cam. Nick, do you have any other thoughts on the matter? Any other questions, comments, concerns, queries, qualms?
Quips.
You got any quips for me?
No.
Better start scrambling before you get folded like an omelet.
Shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
shoot. There's a lot going on this year for quarterbacks. That's just quarterbacks. I know that there's a lot of movement that happens from year to year in the league, obviously. Like, there's free agency every offseason, there's the draft, there's all that stuff. It happens every year, no matter what. But quarterbacks, there's so much going on. Dude, you know who else I wouldn't mind with New England?
Who?
Gardner Minshew.
I
mean, obviously Jacksonville's going to be running fucking Trevor Lawrence.
It'll be like, oh, what brings you to the area?
Dude,
see you later.
If we ended up getting Gardner Minshew, I would actually be kind of happy.
Who was the Buccaneers quarterback before Tom?
Jameis Winston, who is going to be starting for New Orleans now. Because he was the backup to Drew Brees this year. He played for the Buccaneers. He was another first-round quarterback. Played for Tampa for a few years. He's the ultimate gunslinger. The ultimate gunslinger. He just chucks it every fucking play.
Yeah!
You know, the thing, he led the league in passing yards. I think he led the league in touchdowns as well. But he also threw 14 pick sixes.
Oh my!
This is all in one season, by the way. There was a stat that this was last year. I guess it's still a little fuzzy, but there was a stat that was like number of touchdown passes to Mike Evans this year, 11. Number to Chris Godwin, 13. Number to the other team, 8. And then it went to like the next down in the line. It was like, jeez, but I mean, I wonder how he'll do. He obviously is a hell of a slinger, but maybe after a year of like training under Drew Brees, he's like, oh shit, this is how we're supposed to do it. Because Drew Brees is the exact opposite type quarterback as he is. Jameis wasn't much of a scrambler. He was more of an in the pocket guy, whereas Drew Brees is more of a short pass and scramble a little bit kind of quarterback. And maybe having that other side of the ball, Jameis was able to learn. Like, hey, shit, maybe I can do it different ways. Maybe I don't need to chuck it every fucking play. And maybe now that he's got like Alvin Kamara at running back, he can be like, okay, I have an actual RB that I can just hand it off to.
You know
sometimes.
what the play would have been?
What?
For Drew Brees to just like, I guess. So how many years of his contract did he have left? Or was he on his final?
I think it might have been his final, and that's why he was like bound out.
He should have went and signed a contract with the Bucks, and then
Tom Brady and Drew Brees.
Yeah,
the duo.
Yeah,
the ultimate duo. Man, Tampa's already out their ass in cap space right now.
He signed him for nothing.
They signed Gronk. They signed Brady. They signed fucking Ndamukong Suh. They got Antonio Brown. They signed everyone they could, dude.
They signed anything,
and it worked. I'll give it to them. It fucking worked.
Won, didn't they?
They sure did. But yeah, Jameis is the old Buccaneers quarterback. He's going to be starting in New Orleans.
What brings you to the area, Tom? Someone's got to tell him.
All right, I think that concludes.
What a real slap in the face that is to that guy. You know, because he was their quarterback the year before. They didn't do shit. This year they win the Super Bowl.
Yep. I was like, hey man, this is what we're supposed to do. But yeah,
that fucking sucks.
Yeah, it does. On that note, I think that concludes this week's episode of Almost Men.
This week? Is this weekly?
No.
This is a weekly?
No, this episode, I guess. This episode of Almost Men. My name is Robin.
I'm Nick.
And this has been Almost Men, talking about NFL quarterbacks in the 2021 offseason. Have a great morning, evening, or afternoon or night. Adios.